Hey everyone, welcome back.
Yeah.
Ready to really dive deep into something that can, I think, seriously boost your career.
Absolutely.
We're talking professional English.
Yes.
And trust me, it's more than just sounding fancy.
Oh, yeah. It's about wielding language as a tool,
Ooh, I like that.
knowing exactly what to say and how to say it to get results in any professional setting, whether it's in meetings or writing or anything.
It's interesting you say that because we've got a mountain of sources for this deep dive, articles, studies, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And they all point to the same thing, this idea that professional English can be your secret weapon.
It's true.
Whether you're writing emails that get noticed or nailing presentations or even leading that big negotiation.
It's true.
So, okay, we keep saying professional English.
Right.
So what is it?
Yeah. So you might be thinking, okay, so what is professional English? It's like having a specific set of tools for different tasks.
Okay.
It's about using formal language effectively, having a strong grasp of industry vocabulary,
I see.
and communicating clearly and concisely.
I feel like that's the difference between like texting your friend and then drafting an email to your CEO.
Exactly.
Same language, but completely different approach.
Exactly. Imagine walking into a meeting and instead of blurting out, "Can you send that over?"
Yeah.
you confidently say, "Would you mind sharing that with me?"
Oh, yeah.
It's a subtle shift in language, but the impact is huge.
I've noticed even small things like I used to use the word big a lot in my writing, and I've tried to swap that out for significant
Yes.
or fix for resolve. And it really does.
Absolutely.
It makes such a difference in how people perceive what I'm saying.
Those small shifts show attention to detail and demonstrate a deeper understanding of professional communication. Now let's talk industry jargon.
Okay.
Mastering those terms specific to your field, like ROI, stakeholders, synergy, can make you sound like a seasoned pro.
But it's not just about sounding impressive, right? I mean, it's about understanding what those terms mean.
Yes.
Being able to participate in those high-level discussions
Absolutely.
really contribute.
Without that insider knowledge, it's like trying to read a map in a foreign language. You might get the general idea,
Yeah.
but you'll miss the crucial details.
So how can you build this professional vocabulary?
Yeah.
I've found that I sort of become like a word detective.
Yeah.
I scan industry articles,
Yeah.
job descriptions, even LinkedIn profiles. And I just jot down any terms that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how quickly you start picking things up.
That's a great strategy. And don't be afraid to use those new words in your own writing and conversations. The more you use them, the more confident you'll become.
So let's shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and talk about spoken professional English. Pronunciation is a big one.
Absolutely. Clear pronunciation is key to ensuring your message is understood, especially in international settings. There's a fantastic website called youglish.com.
I love that website.
You can type in any word and hear how native speakers pronounce it in different contexts.
It's like having a pronunciation coach
Yes.
on demand.
Right.
But it's not just about individual words, is it? It's about the overall flow and delivery.
Exactly. Think about those speakers who really captivate you. They don't rush.
Yeah.
They use pauses effectively, and they project confidence. They've banished those filler words like and like that can distract from their message.
I am so guilty of saying
We all are.
like all the time. But it's true. Slowing down, pausing for emphasis, it really does make a difference.
It's like taking a breath before you dive into deep water. It allows you to gather your thoughts and deliver your message with impact. And speaking of diving in, have you ever tried the shadowing technique?
I've heard of it.
Okay.
Tell me more.
Yeah, it's a powerful way to improve your pronunciation and fluency.
Okay.
You find a piece of audio with a speaker you admire, maybe a TED Talk, a podcast like this one, or even a scene from a movie. And you mimic them word for word, intonation and all.
It's like having a personal pronunciation coach right in your pocket.
Yeah.
I could see how that would be helpful.
It also helps train your ear to hear those nuances. You start to notice the subtle ways native speakers use stress, intonation, and rhythm to convey meaning.
That's so fascinating. What about those of us who get nervous speaking in front of others?
Well, consider joining a public speaking group like Toastmasters. It's a supportive environment where you can practice your skills and get constructive feedback.
And they do role playing too, right?
Right.
Like practicing those like job interviews and stuff like that.
Exactly. It's like boot camp for your professional communication skills. But even if you don't join a group, you can still practice on your own. Record yourself giving a presentation or having a mock interview, then listen back and identify areas for improvement.
That's a great tip. So we've covered speaking. What about the written side of professional English?
Yeah.
Emails, reports, all that good stuff.
That's where things get really interesting. Let's break down how to write an impactful email, for example. First, ditch those weak openings like, I hope this email finds you well. Get straight to the point with a clear subject line and a concise opening sentence like, I'm writing to follow up on our conversation about.
I am so guilty of using those generic openings.
We all do it.
I'm going to start being much more direct.
It shows respect for the recipient's time and demonstrates that you value clear communication. Now let's talk about the body of the email. Keep it concise, use professional language, and focus on delivering your message effectively.
And what about the closing? I'm trying to not say cheers anymore and go with best regards, sincerely.
Those are great options. Remember, your emails are a reflection of you and your professionalism. Now, there are some fantastic tools out there that can help you polish your writing. Have you ever used Grammarly or the Hemingway app?
I've heard of them,
Okay.
but I haven't really explored them in depth.
So Grammarly is like having a personal editor on your shoulder. It catches grammar mistakes, suggests improvements for clarity and conciseness, and even helps you adjust your tone to be more professional.
I'm definitely going to check that out. What about Hemingway?
Hemingway is all about making your writing bold and clear. It highlights adverbs, passive voice, and overly complex sentences, encouraging you to write in a more direct and impactful style.
Love that.
Now, one principle to keep in mind when writing professionally is the KISS rule. Keep it short and simple.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Instead of writing, I am reaching out to inform you that,
Yeah.
simply state, I'd like to inform you that. It's direct, professional, and gets straight to the point.
It's like decluttering your writing.
Exactly. Professional writing isn't about using flowery language or complex sentence structures.
Yeah.
It's about communicating your message clearly and effectively.
This has been so insightful already. I feel like I'm already learning so much.
That's great to hear. We've only just scratched the surface, though. In the next part of this deep dive, we'll explore how mastering professional English can not only boost your career, but also lead to unexpected personal growth opportunities.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
Before we move on, I wanted to touch on something we briefly mentioned earlier.
Okay.
It's this confidence boost that comes with mastering professional English.
I think that's a great point.
It's more than just acquiring a skill set, isn't
I
it?
think it really is. I mean, it's like unlocking this new level of self-assurance.
Exactly.
When you can express yourself clearly and effectively in any professional setting, it really does change how you perceive yourself
Yeah.
and how others perceive you as well.
It's fascinating how that confidence can create a ripple effect,
Oh, yeah.
leading to new opportunities, maybe even international collaborations that might not have been possible before.
I like to think of it almost like a chain reaction. You know, you start by just focusing on, okay, I need to learn some new vocabulary and improve my grammar, but then all of a sudden you're more comfortable speaking up in meetings, taking on more responsibility,
Yeah.
maybe even leading projects, presenting to senior management. And it's amazing
Right.
how just a few well-chosen words can have that impact.
And it goes beyond external validation. When you communicate effectively, you build stronger relationships, you minimize misunderstandings, and you contribute to a more positive and productive work environment.
I've definitely noticed that because I think there's nothing more frustrating than when you're trying to explain a complex idea
Right.
and you just feel like you're not getting your point across.
Yeah.
And professional English really does give you the tools to cut through that confusion,
Right.
communicate with clarity and precision.
It's about taking control of your message and ensuring it resonates with your audience. It's a valuable skill in any profession.
It's almost like learning a new language within a language.
Oh, I like that.
You know, we may know how to speak English conversationally,
Right.
but professional English is this whole other level
Yeah.
of finesse.
I like that analogy. It's about refining your language, expanding your vocabulary, and developing a keen awareness of the subtle nuances that come with professional communication.
And it's a journey, not a destination.
Absolutely.
I mean, it takes time and effort
Yeah.
and a willingness to constantly learn and adapt.
But the rewards are well worth the investment. Think about the feeling of nailing a presentation or writing an email that gets the results you wanted,
Yeah.
or confidently navigating a difficult negotiation. It's incredibly empowering.
It's not about getting to a certain point and being like, okay, I've achieved professional English.
Right.
It's like always learning,
Yeah.
always growing.
Because the world of work is constantly evolving, and so is the language we use to navigate it. That's why it's so important to stay curious, embrace new challenges, and never stop honing your skills. The more you learn, the more confident and adaptable you become.
Okay, so let's say someone's listening to this and they're like, okay, I want to improve my professional English.
Right.
How do they even make that a part of their routine?
Yeah. Well, one simple thing is to make a habit of reading professional content regularly.
Okay.
Articles, industry publications, even business-focused blogs can help you stay up to date on the latest trends and terminology.
That makes sense. It's like immersing yourself in the language.
Yeah.
What about things you can do outside of work?
Podcasts and videos are also fantastic resources.
Oh, yeah.
There's a wealth of content out there specifically designed to help you improve your professional English skills.
And what about like online courses and stuff like that?
Right, those are great too. And for those who prefer a more structured approach, there are tons of online courses that can provide targeted instruction and personalized feedback.
Yeah.
But regardless of how you choose to learn, the most important thing is to actually use the language.
Oh, yeah.
Practice speaking in professional settings.
Right.
Write emails and reports. Actively engage in discussions with colleagues and clients.
I think a lot of people are afraid to make mistakes,
It's natural to feel that way.
especially when they're first starting out.
Yeah, but remember that everyone stumbles along the way.
Yeah.
The key is to learn from those missteps and keep pushing yourself forward.
I think of those kind of awkward moments as opportunities for growth.
Exactly.
The more you embrace those challenges,
Mm-hmm.
the more confident you'll become.
As you become more proficient in professional English, you'll notice a shift not only in your career, but also in your personal life. You'll be better equipped to communicate your ideas,
Yeah.
advocate for yourself, and build stronger relationships.
Just like professional English isn't just about these skills,
Right.
but it's actually unlocking your full potential.
That's a great way to put it. And who knows what doors that might open.
That's a good point, because I think sometimes we get so focused on the immediate benefits,
Right.
but we don't think about the bigger picture.
Before we move on to the final part of this deep dive, I want to leave you with this thought. How can you use professional English to not only advance your career, but also make a positive impact on the world around you? We'll explore that question in part 3.
All right, welcome back to this deep dive. So we've talked about, how professional English can open doors in your career,
Yes.
boost your confidence.
Yeah.
But in this final part, I really want to explore how it can be used for something even bigger, like making a positive impact on the world.
It's an interesting shift in perspective.
Yeah.
Thinking of professional English not just as a tool for personal gain,
Right.
but as a way to contribute to something larger than yourself.
Exactly. Imagine like you're working on a project that you're really passionate about, whether it's, developing some new technology or advocating for social justice or creating a sustainable business. Being able to communicate that vision
Yes.
clearly
Yes.
and persuasively can really be the key
Absolutely.
to getting people to rally behind your cause and making that vision a reality.
It's fascinating how professional English can help bridge cultural divides and foster global collaboration.
Yeah.
In a world that's becoming increasingly interconnected, the ability to communicate effectively across borders is more important than ever.
That makes me think about working on global teams
Yes.
with people from all different backgrounds and cultures.
Right.
And even if everyone speaks English as a common language, there's still so many nuances.
Absolutely.
Professional English can provide that framework for communication that helps everyone feel heard and understood.
It's like having a universal translator for the professional world.
Ooh, I like that.
It breaks down barriers and allows for deeper connection and collaboration regardless of someone's native language.
It's not just about understanding the words, though, right? It's about understanding the cultural context.
Absolutely.
All those unspoken rules of communication.
Yes.
The subtle differences in, tone and formality.
Precisely. That's why it's essential to go beyond just vocabulary and grammar.
Okay.
It's about developing cultural intelligence,
Right.
being aware of different communication styles, and being sensitive to the perspectives of others.
So things like active listening,
Yes,
asking clarifying questions,
absolutely.
being open to feedback, those are all really important.
Those skills are essential for building trust and rapport and ultimately creating a more inclusive and collaborative environment.
It sounds like mastering those skills can actually lead to
Yes.
greater understanding empathy and cooperation on a global scale.
Absolutely.
It's like professional English becomes this superpower
Yes.
for positive change.
It does empower you to make a difference, to find your voice, to become a leader in your field, and inspire others to do the same.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this final thought. What kind of impact could you make on the world if you really mastered the art of professional English? What doors could you open? What bridges could you build? What positive changes could you inspire?
The possibilities really are endless.
I think that's a great place to end it. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.